figure out the best location for the Warlocks here. I've just made a temporary rowing thwart here. So I'm just going to experiment. Okay, did not do a very good job on that thwart, apparently. Well, let me try that again. Turns out my toolbox is about the right size, so. This is sitting quite far back, actually. I think I might move it forwards. I messed these holes up last time. I had to drill them out. So these are just the oarlocks here, and I have to create these little gaps here because the screws have to come in from this side, so the nuts have to be on this side. This is a backrest. They can't just be sticking out because they're getting you back. And I stuffed these two up and I filled them up with epoxy filler. So I have to dig those out again. But I'm not going to use a drill bit this time. I'm going to use a router. This looks pretty good. A lot neater than the other side. Now the second time is always neater, isn't it? Oarlock mounted. Other oarlock mounted. Can't forget the holes for these things. So I've decided that these will go perpendicular to the direction of the boat. It's always something, isn't it? There are two screws here which are going to drill because of this thing. So what I've done is I've mounted the thread of the inspection port upside down, and I'm going to drill up somehow. This might end in disaster. I've got the drill down here, and the hole has to be there. Maybe. And one more hole. Cool. Lots of plugs. Hardware for the boom. I haven't dry fit it yet, so I'm going to do that now. Get these A-straps at the front for attaching the front reefing lines, 3 cleats for the reefing lines, 3 cheek blocks for the reefing lines, and 3 A-straps on the other side. Well, these don't fit exactly, to see what I'm going to do about that. I want to angle these such that they're each maybe slightly more angled than the last. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. We'll see. Okay, this one has the littlest angle. This should be halfway between, and this has the greatest angle. The line below can kind of curve around, in theory. And the reef lines are going to come down kind of like this. That's why I wanted to have this one more angled, to try and get that furthest out line down the bottom and the furthest in line up the top. I do need to get some nice button head screws here, which I've ordered. These are just for fitting it. So that should hopefully allow those lines to go like that. Just trying to position where the cleats will go here to tie off the forward reefs. A bit hard to see because they're under clamps, but I got this one here, this one here, and this one here. Like I positioned these slightly different to try and get the lines separate from each other. I want to like continue this run of lines so they don't try and tangle. So this aft one will be as high up as possible. That corresponds to this aft reefing line here, which is the third one. Then the middle one will be in the middle of the boom, and then this forward one will be as low down as possible. And that corresponds to, must be the first reef. I was going to say it's probably better if the first reef was further back, you know, so you could reach it. But when you're reaching for the third reef, you want it to be as close as possible, I suppose. And I've just positioned these as far back as I can get them without hitting the leather, because I want to be able to reach them relatively easily from the cockpit. I'll just figure out exactly where they go. They'll go basically there, and then drill that. Okay, that should be good, more or less. So here we go. Oh, pretty good. I think that'll do, actually. The reefing lines will go up there to the front of the sail, come down here. I won't have these bolts sticking out. Actually, I'll put the other side on the port side here, and there'll be little button heads, so they shouldn't get in the way. They get redirected around here, and then they come to these cleats, and these lines should run next to each other and not get tangled, I hope. So the cheek blocks for the rear reefing lines will go kind of like this, similar to the forward ones. They're staggered. Although the lines are thinner for the reef, so hopefully they don't rub against each other. Get eye straps here on the other side of these cheek blocks so that the reefing line can be tied off on the eye strap, goes up through the grommet on the sail and then back down through the block on the other side. And I thought I'd just use one of the existing holes here and then just a screw on that side. Why not? Our rear reefs up to their cleats here. Basically the exact same system as at the front, but reversed. And if any of this is bodgy, I can modify it later. Just simulating the out haul here. This would actually be attached to one of the sail. Back here to this block, just temporarily tied on. Probably be some sort of knot like that. Goes around that, and then all the way back to this cleat here. Put it on the starboard side of the boom because I didn't want it interfering with the reef lines. On the plans it's on the port side as well, somewhere around here. So I guess one day I'll find out if that's a bad idea. But I put it high up so that this line could go along the top of the boom here and not interfere with these other points for the reef lines. I have to put a thumb cleat in. Here's what the thumb cleat looks like in the rigging plan. And that goes up to the top of the mast. It's attached just a lazy jack, basically. I assume it's like that so that you can just kind of hook it off or hook it on or whatever, but I need to make one of those. I have this stuff. That's some Osage that I got from a friend who makes bows and things. It's a nice hardwood. I think it'd be pretty nice, so I might make it out of this. Then a bit of that nice wood will be on the boat. Not sure which way I should do it with regards to the grain actually, because, well, mostly the force will be up, and it's not really going to be much force, but there'll be a little force this way, and it'll want to split along the grain. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Okay, so apparently I just did a bit of research and the grain should run along the cleat, at least a regular cleat, and I assume the thumb cleat as well. Here we got the grain going sort of this way, so I guess I want the cleat to run something like that. Let me figure this out. I guess this is kind of the basic shape. It looks a bit stubby. I want it to be strong, so the line will go in here, and then you know, if it's too big, then I'll just sand it down a bit. Finally, I can use this 4.5mm bit that I haven't used. Yay! Oh, yeah.
What are you doing there, Jay?
I'm just sanding this burnt bit off. You gotta fix all my mistakes, don't you?
Mate, so many mistakes. They can't all be fixed.
And scene. So that's the finished thumb cleat. It's quite fat and stubby, but I think it'll do just fine. And it'll mount like that up under the boom. I think it turned out pretty good. The holes through here, the screw heads can go down to those holes, and they're smaller on the other side. So yeah, that's some orange Osage. I think it'll look good on the boom. It's a really striking colour. It's lovely. Cheers, John, for that piece of wood. It's gonna be good, I think. This is where the thumb cleat's supposed to go. Yes. This line is where the rope goes past. Well, this doesn't really have to be that accurate. I just want to get it in the middle. Might be slightly off center. Whoops, not the end of the world. Or is it? Ah, I can't change it now. Maybe I can a little. Slightly off center. Oh well. That's all the fittings on the boom then. So we got the aft reef lines and their eye straps on the other side, these cheek blocks, thumb cleat. Then we have the cleats for the reef lines. This cleat on the starboard side for the outhaul. Then we have this eye strap for the main sheet. Oh, actually I didn't put another eye strap on here. Get on that. Then eye strap here for the boom lift. Then the cleats for the forward reefing lines. And then the eye straps on either side for the forward reefing lines. And of course these bolts will be trimmed down.